Last week, I thought it was very impressive to see how the grades had improved in South Florida schools. In fact, kind of crushing it. 57% of schools in South Florida got A's this year. That's a majority of them. And they say 81% of schools in South Florida had either an A or a B grade. It's like, that's really good. We've got great schools here. But then when you look at the national things, Florida is typically kind of like a little bit down by the bottom, unfortunately, when it comes to things. And now there's some questions about maybe the grades that they're kind of grading on a curve, in a sense, to make things look a little bit better. Because don't you feel good sending your kid to an A-rated school? I know my kid goes to an A-rated school, and that's one of the reasons why we have him there, because of the grade.
Are they grading themselves? Is this like KVJ gives KVJ a grade?
Yeah,
I'd be
in
like,
a sense, yeah.
I give us an A.
I've been A+ my entire career. And when they do that, they do the self-evaluation. They sit down and be like, so how do you think you did this year? I'm like, awesome, A+. And I get up and leave.
I'm giving myself the C- at best.
I love the self-evaluations because I just go on and on about how great I am.
Yeah, it's great. And now some people, when they saw just how many schools had improved, there were some that had gone from F or D, and all of a sudden they're like an A, and they're like, wow, what brought on this improvement?
We let them grade themselves.
Are we padding stats? Is that what's happening?
Well, they started looking into it, and they looked at the real truths of the grades that now these South Florida schools have. And they said statewide, 28 schools got A grades despite at least half of their students not being proficient in language arts, while 56 schools got the top grade even though half or more of their students scored poorly in math. So they're saying, okay, how are we giving these A grades? What are we doing? They said at 10 A-rated schools, at least half the students scored poorly in both subjects. So they're kind of asking, all right, so what are we doing? And the state reminded you that it's not necessarily how they perform, but how they're improving. So if you've gotten better, then they're like, hey, that's kind of A effort. You know how I always do that?
A for effort.
When you don't give an A performance, be like, you know what, you get an A for effort. That's what we're doing with the South Florida schools. And so if you get an A for effort, be going, that's good enough, man. You know what? You're an A school.
Well, you know, it's like I had my 8th shot of whiskey, but today I only did 7. You know what? Get an A for effort. Good job, son.
That's ridiculous.
So what happened was in the early 2000s in the state of Florida, they would issue grades only on performance, not on improvement. And we were getting D's and F's. And they said, we don't like these scores. What can we do? And they said, well, you know, what if they show improvement?
Let's change the way we rate ourselves.
Yes, because Florida didn't look like a good place to move because of the poorly rated schools.
Well, I remember that story you had where Florida was not in a very good placement with the numbers of education.
They said that now many of these same schools are getting A's and B's, even though a large number of students still perform below grade level. So they're not even performing at the level of the grade that they're actually in, yet they're an A school.
You don't have to be great. You just have to be better than last year.
They say high schools can get extra points for high graduation rates, and if their students take and pass college-level classes or get industry certification, that's how they're saying, you know what, you deserve an A today.
You don't have to be good. You just got to be able to blink.
Wow.
Now, there is a little bit of a pushback because some people at the state, after they saw the grades that just came out, and like, oh my gosh, so pretty much all of our schools are A and B now in South Florida. Like, going, I don't think that is right. So now there's kind of a pushback to say maybe we might need to look at the ratings that we have. But I guess for a year, your kid's going to be an A or B school because I don't think there's anything they're going to flip in the near future. So it's probably going to take them a year to kind of sort this out and say, yeah, maybe some of the grades that we handed out aren't legit.
We'll just call this the year of lies.
Yes. So they say under state law here in Florida, the grading scale must be toughened if more than 75% of schools in a particular category receive A's and B's. And they're eclipsing that mark in many places, including South Florida. And so with 81% of our schools now having an A or B, they're going to have to toughen the standards. So you'll be like, what happened? How did we get so good? Now we're going to be so bad. It's because they got to course correct and say, yeah, we graded on too lenient of a curve.
I've heard rumors now. These are just rumors that where there's some schools that will pad their stats because they know they're going to get this or that. And if they tell the truth, they won't get any of those opportunities, if that makes sense.
I'm sure they're doing that. That's exactly what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. So Yeah, some interesting stuff there. So I saw that unfortunately you may not be able to believe some of the grades that your kids have gotten at their school.
Whoa, Kevin Brockovich over here, busting stories open.
We got all excited for nothing a few weeks ago.
That's it, yes.
You know what? When Kevin said it, it didn't feel right.
Lies, letters of lies.
Well, I was blown away. I was looking at some of the schools that I knew for a fact had been routinely D or F schools. I was like, well, that's an A or B now? How would that happen? Yeah.
Lies.
Now I
Kevin,
know.
you literally can't believe anyone or anything.
No, unfortunately,
Welcome
you really
to
can't.
2025.
Everybody's fudging stats.
What? It's not real.